Good day, fellow Jersey Nerds, and welcome to episode 59 of the Jersey Nerds podcast, powered by HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. I'm your host, Ryan, and today on the Nerdcast, we're going to be looking at the ECHL's Atlanta Gladiators and their new third jersey. Plus, the Chicago Blackhawks surprised us this week by debuting their exclusive Winter Classic practice jerseys, which normally wouldn't garner a lot of news, but these ones are a little different. And then we'll go from there into Throwback Throwdown, where we'll have a practice jersey battle, and we'll finish it all up with Fake or Authentic. But what would these podcasts be without fellow HJC writers and friends of the show joining us? And this week, we have Sunday's writer, Steve. What's going on, Steve?
Just living the dream, Ryan. How about yourself?
Same here, every day, living the dream. We got our first, I would say, significant snowfall in the Toronto area. Not enough to, make people forget how to drive, but enough that it's sticking around on the ground. How's things going out in Pennsylvania?
Oh, Jesus Lord. The second someone says snow, everybody forgets how to drive down here.
Yeah, it seems to be.
I swear it has to do with the hills.
It seems to be pretty universal around the world. Wherever there's snow, or at least in North America, wherever there's snow, people are going to forget how to drive. Also joining us, and I know we're talking snow with this guy, Thursday's writer, Eastern Canada, Shawn. How's it going out there?
Great. I just got the thing out of the advent calendar.
It's not like last year where you were working on the gingerbread Zamboni while we were trying to podcast.
The second we get those in, we are making a valiant return. We are building another Zamboni on the HJC podcast.
Well, weed's legal in Canada now, so you just get stoned out of your mind and try and build.
I'm going to get stoned out of my mind, and I'm going to try and build it, and we'll have photos on the HJC social media, which you should all be following, by the way. Tonight's jersey, latest pickup, a starter 95-96 Colorado Avalanche home jersey, obviously the best they wore in their history.
Starter is a fan. You and I were...
Some great names you can get on this, Joe Sakic and Kaminsky.
No, you got to get
Matt
Duchene on a starter jersey. You got to get Joe Sacco, not Sakic. Joe Sacco. There's a name from the past.
Former Flyers coach Dud.
I think he coached the Avalanche, too. I don't know. I might be wrong.
He did. That's right. He did before Patrick Waugh.
Yeah. Also joining us, friend of the show, Bpoe. What's going on, Bpoe?
Just recording a podcast, Ryan. How about you?
Me too. So that works out nicely for both of us. I noticed you're wearing a home Adidas Florida Panthers jersey. Is that a Yager jersey or a Mike Hoffman jersey?
Yeah. It is a Jaromir Jagr jersey. I realized only after the fact that it's a jersey foul, but I'm not too worried about it because it's not that big of one.
It really isn't, though, because wasn't he on the roster after the team had unveiled them?
No, that's the Adidas cut. That's what makes it the jersey foul.
I mean, yeah, he was on the team with this style. The only difference is the only thing is the jersey foul.
I think it's fine.
Shawn,
I was talking to somebody on Reddit about this, but it's still technically a jersey foul. But if you're going to rank them, this is nothing. This is minor.
It's like getting a Gordie Howe Reebok,
Reebok Red Wings jersey.
Exactly. It's like
there was a flag on the play, but the team declined the penalty. So it's all good here.
Exactly.
All right, we're all here. We're all accounted for. We all have some form of jersey or paraphernalia on. So let's get right into it. Our first topic this week is the ECHL's Atlanta Gladiators, who came out with a very, very interesting third jersey, which they're going to be using for the remainder of the season, and it pays tribute to hockey in Atlanta. They phrased it as rich hockey history in Atlanta. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a rich hockey history in Atlanta, but nonetheless, this jersey is a black jersey. Going down the left sleeve is inspired by the Thrashers. It's a arm stripe, red arm stripe, outlined in black and gold, and it says Atlanta, much like the baby blue Thrashers alternate jersey. On the right sleeve is three stripes, which are inspired by the Atlanta Flames jersey. The bottom is 2 broad stripes, which I believe are inspired by the Atlanta Knights of the old IHL. And then apparently this one's a little weak, but their primary logo is inspired by their primary logo. So that didn't really need to be explained, but they felt the need to explain that.
Wait, what? I never noticed that before.
Yeah, heads up on that one.
Oh my god.
Little hidden feature there of the jersey.
Mind is blown.
The primary logo is the same logo they've been using for the past 2 or 3 years. Heads up on that one, folks. But definitely an interesting idea. If you look at it out of context, just in a vacuum, it's a pretty ridiculous jersey. But once you add context and find out what they're doing, I actually kind of like it. I don't know what you think of it, Shawn.
Yeah, what's funny about that is that actually, if you don't count the Thrashers, Atlanta does kind of have a rich hockey history. It really is the Thrashers that discount that, God bless them. I kind of like this. I think that overall there's nothing here that doesn't actually go together. It's not like they tried to add, I don't know, the motocross jersey. I don't particularly mind the way that the hem stripe is different from the one arm, it's different from the other arm. I think if I had to pick one theme to go with, I would have stuck with the Flames and the Thrashers. Or the Flames and the Knights. I think that you could have made both of those work better. Overall, I think that in doing so, you're trying to group together everyone in Atlanta hockey history. And really, I think that there's only one team that people actually liked in Atlanta, and that was the Flames.
Yeah. According to TC, last time he was on the podcast. So, Steve, just looking at these jerseys, is this an atrocity or kind of a unique situation here?
I looked at these and like Jet said, first you look at it. If you didn't know anything about the jerseys from the previous teams, you'd look at this and you'd go, what on earth were they thinking? Did a 5-year-old design this? Which I can understand, but then you see that they brought out those, what we love is called those descriptors on social media, which they didn't do 1, they did 4. Just to notate every single part of the jersey, which, by the way, they had Mason used for the Thrashers.
Yeah, old goalie Chris Mason, yeah.
But what I like about it is how they attempt to throw everything together. And it's not a bad color scheme that they use. And I think being that we know what it is and how everything is, it works in a vacuum. But to the average person, it's going to be a really ugly jersey. And personally, I think Atlanta hockey is kind of like how the Montreal Expos are. They've always been like around 500 or have always been somehow the lovable losers, but have just never been on the cusp. And then finally they just go away and everyone's like, aww.
Bpoe, looking at these, what do you think of these things?
Just to clarify real quick, this is an alternate, not just a one-off, right?
That's correct. They're going to be using it several times.
So it's going to be worn a couple times, but not just once.
That's correct, right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, for a one-off or even just an alternate, I think it works okay. I like the idea behind it of trying to combine hockey history from Atlanta in their jersey. It's definitely atrocious in a vacuum, though, and it actually wouldn't even be that bad if it weren't for the Atlanta Thrashers yoke thing. The left side of the jersey, like if you're looking at the player from the front, the left side with the stripes is fine. The inconsistency would normally bother me, and it still kind of does, but it's fine for this situation. I can make an exception. But that yoke on the left side just throws everything off, which, I mean, I guess that's somewhat the point. I guess that's kind of what Atlanta, the Thrashers, were doing, just being weird. But it really throws everything off to make it look like a good jersey. Because even the Rangers 2012 Winter Classics, if you think about those, they had inconsistent arm and hem stripes. And I don't like it, but it didn't look that bad. So if it was just those arm and hem stripes, it would be fine. But that yoke just throws it all off. I like it for what they're doing with it, but it just, in a vacuum, it doesn't look very good.
I think there's a couple things from at least my point of view that help it. That's a strong primary logo, I think. And so it's kind of large in the front there. Another thing that helps is the color scheme. This color scheme's pretty strong here. I think that helps the jersey kind of be a solid jersey. And
it's a black jersey for Jets.
Yeah, there you go, Shawn. You like that? And it's also used. I think the ECHL is the proper arena for a jersey like this. AHL would be pushing it, and I don't ever want to see something like this in the NHL. But the ECHL seems like the proper place for this. It's an alternate, and they went ahead and explained exactly what they're doing. Like there's nothing to interpret here. They literally cut up pieces of Atlanta hockey history jerseys and glued them together with their own logo, and that's what we got. We've got this thing, which is a monstrosity if you didn't have all the information that goes behind it. But when you do, it actually turns out to be a decent jersey. So if we have to give it a rating out of 10, which we're all going to do, I'll give this a 6.9, very close to a 7 out of 10. But
nice.
just come on, Bpoe, keep it respectable here. I'm giving it a 6.9 out of 10. Bpoe, what do you want to rate this?
I think I'm going to give this one a 6.5. And honestly, kind of to go off of what you said, I think it could work in the NHL if you used the arm stripe pattern on both of them instead of the full yoke. Because then, I mean, like I said, other teams have done it, like the Rangers for their Winter Classic. But if you have the full arm thing, no way it could work in the NHL. But 6.5.
Steve, you got a rating?
I'm going to be nice and give this one a 7 just because how they're actually digging into the history of it instead of just going with like a direct either template copy or just wearing a direct throwback. So I give like an A for effort, but this jersey's just so mixed up. There's no way as a full-time jersey this could work.
Shawn, your rating?
I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think that of all the teams to honor there, the Thrashers are the odd one out. The Atlanta Knights, despite their short history, very memorable. At this point, the Atlanta Gladiators are going on 15 years of existing. And the Atlanta Flames made the playoffs almost every year they existed.
So that's the second most successful Atlanta hockey team is the Flames then.
Well, they're the most successful.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the Knights or the Gladiators here from longevity. But then again, they were the Gwinnett Gladiators, and I'm not familiar with my Georgia geography, but apparently that's...
It'd be like in Toronto if you named a team after, like, Ajax.
So nice little... A burb 30 minutes out.
Gwinnett is a burb of Atlanta.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, I think the sentiment here is clear. The Thrashers thing, there were better ways to do it. Maybe the collar.
I wonder if they could have used the sock striping for that, or even the hem striping from the original Thrashers jerseys.
Mm.
Yeah, those little kind of arrows.
Especially with that pattern, and I think you're about to mention that. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, you're all good. It sparks the discussion, but yeah, seeing those arrows somewhere on might have been a better alternative than that full Atlanta sleeve. But you know what? That's the look that I associate with the Thrashers.
You know what? That's the thing. Everybody associates the half sleeve design on just the one arm with the Thrashers. GT is doing it. Georgia Tech, they're having an alternate that looks similar to it, and it's starting to make a comeback. And if I recall, I remember when those jerseys for the Reebok came out, a lot of beer leagues used the half sleeve. So it's a popular design for some reason. I'm still not sure to this day why it is, but it's something unique, and I see why they used it. It's just that it's one of those things where it fits a particular style, and it's not good for a mashup.
I mean, can we all agree that the original is a pretty solid jersey in itself?
For the Thrashers, yeah.
CCM cut, Atlanta Thrashers alternate in 2006-2007 home was a pretty solid jersey on its own. But I don't think anybody was asking for an arm stripe on it.
No, definitely not. But the colors were fantastic on the baby blue jerseys.
I think that one of the other ways you could have done this would be to make a version of the team's dark jersey. So for the Thrashers, take that half sleeve jersey, the CCM cut. For the Knights, their black jersey. For the Atlanta Flames, their jersey. Stick the Gladiators logo on the front of it, but color it, like recolor it.
Yeah, that could work. That could definitely work.
Recolor it like in the team's colors itself. So
Exactly.
Do you remember when the Atlanta Gladiators actually did a Flames jersey, but instead they took that alternate G logo with the sword and they used it? But it was a literal direct Atlanta Flames copy that they used for an alternate jersey. I think this was a year or two ago.
Oh, this was actually quite a few years ago.
Yeah, that might have been even more, but I remember that looking pretty solid.
Yeah.
It was solid, and everyone wanted to make it like the full-time thing, but
that always happens.
I mean, I think that could work.
And
I mean, you got a good idea on that.
Back for the Gladiators themselves, they wore a tan to red gradient jersey. One point.
Oh, boy.
That's too much. But
we're talking mid-2000 ECHL here. So when the PD Pride come into town, you got to be looking your best.
So taking everyone's ratings there, this jersey actually comes out to a 6.6 out of 10 on the average ratings, which thinking about the mishmash that it is, that's actually a surprisingly respectable rating. I think that suits it appropriately.
It perfectly fits how Atlanta handles their hockey with mediocrity.
A 6.6 for these jerseys and for Atlanta hockey. Way to go.
I'm not sure though that I associate that half sleeve with the Thrashers though, because every once in a while, whenever I turn on the TV and I'm flipping through the channels and some motocross comes on, I think it's an Atlanta Thrashers game for a second.
Well.
All right. So there it goes off the rails. But anyways.
That joke fell flat.
It really did. Well done, Bpoe. There might be one person listening out there that's just laughing and loving it, but
yeah, me.
So I think we've gone as far as we can go with these jerseys. 6.6 average rating, not too bad, and it will certainly be interesting to see if they last past the 1 year. I don't think they will, but it's something that'll be interesting to watch. Let's move on now to the Chicago Blackhawks, who this past week surprisingly gave us a sneak peek, or a full look actually, at their Winter Classic practice jerseys. Now, this in the past wouldn't have made news because it's usually just the logo, primary logo that the team's using for the Winter Classic, and throw it on the templated practice jersey. Something similar has been done this year, but the logo used on the still got Atlanta on the mind. The logo used on the Hawks practice jersey for the Winter Classic is actually their C logo with the Tomahawks behind it. And it's all in tan, which is really, really interesting. They've come out with 3 colors, the Hawks colors, red, black, and white. Black and white are for sale to the general public, and really interesting, and I kind of like it. The red one is exclusive just to the players. I really like that. So we'll start with you, Shawn, and just your thoughts on this new style of practice jersey. I would hope we'd get one from the Bruins as well. But this new style of practice jersey where it's marketable and somewhat different from the actual Winter Classic jersey.
I mean, the thing about this, when I thought about it, was this game is kind of weak, I think, because you're not getting a new logo for it. But let's think of some other games where this would have been really cool. Boston 2016 with that gorgeous sort of reverse color wheel where the stitching made up the spokes of the wheel, and it was mostly black. 2014, that solid Detroit script from the helmet that I wish they still used.
Oh yeah, the kind of baseball style one.
Exactly, but it was really densely packed together, so like there was no wasted space in it, like that, like those sorts of things.
Yeah.
When you think about it, that's where the marketability is use it on a really use it for when you create a new logo for it. You know, you could even extend this to Stadium Series.
It would have been great. Also,
shoulder patch last year.
Yes, Buffalo.
Yeah. Stick that on a practice jersey. Guarantee you'd sell that out.
That I might pick. If that had happened, I might have picked up my first practice jersey. So that'd be really interesting to see. Just Bpoe, so you've seen this jersey and just thoughts on changing it up a little bit here and providing maybe something a little more desirable for people to purchase along with the Winter Classic jersey.
Yeah, I quite like it for sure. I mean, I think my first reaction I was just getting home from work, and I was like, anybody want to drop some pictures of this in the Slack chat because I hadn't seen it yet. And I think as soon as I thought, I was like, ooh, I like this, and I really do like it. I'm glad that it's not. We'll get to this a little bit more in depth later, but I'm glad it's not just the circle with the primary logo like they normally do with Adidas, these practice jerseys, and it almost looks like. I mean, aside from the fact that it's a practice jersey, it almost looks like a regular jersey because the logo looks like a regular logo. And I can't tell, is it felt? It's almost hard. It almost looks like it is. Or is it like the regular practice jersey material? Anybody know?
I didn't see a close enough picture to examine it. It's certainly not the perforated look that the regular Adidas practice jerseys have. But I thought, when they did the logo all in tan, it really helps it pop out on all three jerseys. It's really front and center there.
Sorry, good.
Yeah,
I think it looks great in all tan, especially on the black jersey. I think it really pops out. But I think the unfortunate part is that the red one's not for sale, and that one's by far the best looking one just because it has some sort of color in it. The black and white ones are just plain and boring. I mean, it's a nice change up with the logo, but they're just plain and boring otherwise.
I like that there is one that's exclusive to the players. I think that makes it kind of cool, and it's probably then I wouldn't be surprised if those go up for auction. But I think the black one probably looks best. I don't know if you guys had to choose. Steve, if you had to choose a color practice jersey that would be best, which one would it be?
Probably the red. Because from what I'm looking at it, the ones that they wore today in practice actually had the regular alternate C with Tomahawk's logo on it. And I think they're just selling the ones from the Winter Classic instead, but they're using the template itself for the practice jerseys currently, but with regular colors. So I'd say I do like the fact that they're using red for players only. Gives a little bit more exclusive because then they're going to try and sell those game worns. But overall, I think this is an interesting idea for Adidas to do because it kind of gives them a little bit way to pad it. But the jerseys themselves that they came up with for the Blackhawks was great. So I'm not really sure how well this is going to sell other than the fact that it has the alternate logo on the front.
I think within Chicago, it provides another option for Hawks fans. Something else to spend your money on. But
we know one person who's going to end up buying this.
Who's this? Who do you think is going to grab it? Who?
Dylan.
Well,
he's got to get another Blackhawks Winter Classic jersey.
Because there aren't enough out there. I guess that's why they're coming out with this, giving people a reason to buy something else. That's what jerseys are about. But it also opens the door to what are we going to see from the Bruins? Are we going to see a special practice set up for them? And just thinking about it too, are we going to see a similar situation coming up for the Stadium Series games? Are there going to be special practice jerseys or at least different practice jerseys for those? That would really be interesting. So maybe speculating, perhaps with the Bruins, we get something with the Stitch B spoked logo from 2016. It would be nice to see that make a comeback. I don't know if it really fits into what they have currently, but it'd be definitely nice to see that make a comeback. So
we're going to get brown and yellow ones, or we're going to get brown and white or yellow and white, and they're going to have that B logo on it, and they're not going to be as nice as the Blackhawk ones.
That's true. That would kind of be a letdown now. I mean, Adidas has opened the door now, so I think that would kind of be a letdown. Rating out of 10 here. Shawn, we'll start from you.
I mean, we aren't rating this on a real jersey scale. This is the practice jersey scale.
You got to take everything into context and just rate the whole situation. The jersey, what the colors, what they've done with it, the whole situation.
6 out of 10, but there's such a huge upside here. I want to see this keep going.
Agreed.
Like, this in itself is fine, but oh my gosh, like just picture what we're going to have soon.
It is
You know
exciting.
what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when New York used the Lady Liberty on the practice jerseys for the prospect camp.
Oh, yeah. Which were probably just leftover practice jerseys.
I guarantee it, but you know what? This would be so nice to see like alternate jerseys show up on practice jerseys more and give them more prominent look.
Yep.
I was about to mention something like that. I would love to see teams implement this and just use their alternate logos on their practice jerseys just to differentiate them a little bit.
Yeah, well, we had Vancouver several years ago use Johnny Canuck on one of their practice jerseys for a skills competition, I think it was. But Bpoe, we'll go to you for your rating of just the whole situation with these different Winter Classic practice jerseys for the Hawks.
I mean, I guess it's tough to rate this since it's not on the normal scale, but I guess I'll say 7.5. Because I like the idea, and I really hope it can move forward, like I just kind of mentioned.
Steve, you in the same boat? What kind of rating do you have here?
I'm going to give this one a 7. It's a creative idea, and I like it. It's a practice jersey, and you can only do so much. It's kind of like trying to upsell the base model of a car. You can do so, but it's still people are just going to look at for the price.
And again, I like that this opens the door to more possibilities going forward. I'm excited now to see what the Bruins can do and whether or not that'll be a pretty cool jersey. And again, I like that there's an exclusive for the players. I think that makes it special. It probably just will end up being because those ones are being auctioned off. But I think the colors pop here. I like the situation. I like the potential. So I'm going to give this a 7.25. And taking all of our ratings, it comes out to an average of 6.9. So that's not bad for a templated practice jersey that just pretty much has a Winter Classic patch on it and a different logo. So 6.9. Bpoe and Shawn are loving it.
Nice.
Speaking of practice jerseys, it's now time to get to Throwback Throwdown.
Wait, Ryan.
Right during the theme.
Too late. He already started it.
Damn.
Can't believe you guys talked over the Throwback Throwdown theme. You know how many people tune into this podcast just to hear the theme? Once
Ryan.
Once the
Here,
theme
hold on.
plays.
Everybody quiet. Let's do it again.
We got to do, we don't have the Zamboni this week, but we do have something just as special.
All right, what's your Christmas treat this year, Shawn?
We got Sprite Cranberry.
And nothing says Christmas in Canada like a Sprite Cranberry.
I don't think this is just a Canadian thing.
No, I know. That's the joke, Bpoe. Oh, that sounds crisp and clean.
All right, this is the official HJC taste test of Sprite Cranberry.
Okay, let me describe this. This is a clear drink, lots of bubbles. Shawn's trying this for the first time. The idea here is that it's a delicious and refreshing Sprite drink with a hint of cranberry. All right, Shawn, chug it down. Tell us what you think here. Here he goes. The bubbles have hit his tongue. He is chugging it. That was several drinks. The bottle's at least a third done. He's reflecting on what he's just put in his mouth. That's what she said.
Good.
And he enjoys it.
It's pretty good.
You know what? You need to try. You need to try the holiday mix by Mountain Dew if they have it up near your way.
We do not. Canada doesn't get cool things like Mountain Dews that aren't.
What? That aren't regular Mountain Dew?
Because
We
most
do get
You don't get
We
Pitch
get that
Black or
Red.
Code Red or Voltage.
We get those, but we don't get any of the really good ones. Like, we don't get that grape one.
You don't
You
get
get Baja
Pitch Black.
Blast?
I feel
We do get Baja
so
Blast.
bad for you.
But fun fact, the only Taco Bell in Halifax is in a mall.
this week on Throwback Throwdown, we're talking about Mountain Dews. We have Pitch Black going up against Grape Green.
Pitch Black against Baja Blast because we have to talk about practice jerseys.
This week on
Yeah,
Throwback...
as you guys know, I like a lot of color, so I think the Pitch Black is kind of lacking in that.
That's why Bpoe doesn't like that Sprite Cranberry, because there's no color. There should be a red tint to it.
Sprite, hit us up for a sponsorship deal.
Sprite, I think we all need to try that fine beverage. So if you could, spread that around, We'd be happy to do a throwback throwdown. Sprite Zero versus Sprite Cranberry.
Oh, Diet Sprite.
I think we've just opened up the door here on the possibilities for throwback throwdown. No longer sticking with jerseys. We're opening the door to beverages and food and past HJC writers. Yes? Nope, just me.
A new podcast for 2019. The food review.
The food review.
Food and drink review.
The ideas just keep pouring in. Okay, let's take a look at this practice jersey battle here for this week's Throwback Throwdown. We're looking at the current Adidas templated practice jersey, so get the stupid 3 stripes on the side out of the way. On the crest, all the crests are in a roundel with the perforated pattern, team name going through the roundel, primary crest on the front, and the back panel where Adidas is a off color, usually white, so it highlights the branding. And then, of course, you have your traditional half Adidas collar. If you look at, we're talking about the most recent Reebok jersey practice pattern. So again, the back panel is a completely different color to highlight the Reebok branding. Under the arms, pretty much in the pits, you have a off-color rectangle, and then that goes down into a point, not unlike the first ever Sens Reebok alternate, the black one that said Sens in the front. And this one is kind of cut with a sleeve pattern going down the arm. It's a solid color, but it's the way the jersey's stitched. So we're looking at Adidas practice jersey versus Reebok practice jersey. And Shawn, we'll start with you with your Adidas practice jersey review.
I think the thing that kills this for me is not the design itself. It's fine. I mean, like, to be fair, the practice jerseys themselves look better than some of the World Cup jerseys. That being said, it's that stupid roundel with the stupid logo in it. Just use a team logo. And let the teams pick the logos they want to use for it. Like, I never understood this Walmart-esque Sport Check $90 T-shirt looking
because
logo.
They're trying to do the old Center Ice logos. Now, here's a question. Does this look better than the Center Ice logos did back in the day?
Way worse.
Yeah, I think it looks worse because I remember hearing that and then I forgot about it. And so it's like when I see these, I don't pick up on that.
Let's just be very clear here. Again, I don't know how you Americans experience, but we Canadians, of course, do actually have $90 T-shirts that are just the roundel logo of the team. And it just makes me think of that and how much I hate Sport Check.
Can you find it on shop.nhl.com or shop.nhl.canada or whatever it is?
No, you can't, because it's only offered to the Americans. There are 2 T-shirt varieties for the Canadians on that, and
white
one of them
and colored.
It's the Fanatics logo with a little itty bitty version of your team's logo right there.
All right, Bpoe, what do you think of your review of the Adidas practice jersey template?
I feel like we're all going to have similar sentiments here. I mean, it's a practice jersey. The Adidas stripes on the side, I mean, they don't look great, but it's whatever. Adidas has to throw in their branding in there. Fine, so be it. It doesn't need to look great. Thank God they didn't add this on the game jerseys like everybody thought they were going to. But that logo, or quote-unquote logo, I don't know what you want to call it, the roundel thing.
Roundel,
It's just awful. Roundel. It's just awful. I don't understand the need to throw the team logo in there and put the name around it. Like, okay, sure. I mean, we get it. That's the Penguins jersey. That's the Jets jersey. And we know what team it is. You don't need to tell us. Just put the logo on there like they did with that Blackhawks one or like Reebok did. Just put the regular logo on there, even an alternate logo. And it would look so much better. Even if it is this crappy material that they use on those practice jerseys, too. Because it's like, what, a heat-pressed vinyl or something like that?
It looks like it, yeah. It's awful.
It's very shiny. It's awful. It's not even like a real patch. It's terrible.
Yeah. Steve, your review of a Adidas practice jersey?
So, do we all forget that the first year that Adidas did this, they threw on their generic Adidas numbers? So, every team had that thin, rounded Adidas soccer style type numbers on the back as well as the lettering. Just on top of the fact that they have that weird roundel logo in the front of it. I get why Adidas, I don't have a problem with the jersey. I don't have a problem with the stripes. It's a practice jersey. It works. It's basic, and it gets the job done. That's what I like about it. What I don't like is how they did the logos, how they had to make it special, how they went, and I'm pretty sure a lot, it was either the teams or it was just the players themselves that complained about the numbers on the back because they look stupid. And thankfully now that they use the normal numbers, but it's just, I feel like they were trying too hard with the logo in the front, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, the logo on the front, the screened, poorly applied logo is just awful. It really takes this jersey down. And just the perforated look on it, it looks so cheap. I'll start with some good things about the practice jersey. I really think the NHL logo against the solid color of a practice jersey pops really well. And I think the half collar looks kind of nice on this. So that's the good stuff. I even don't mind the back panel where the Adidas branding is being a different color to highlight the branding. Doesn't bother me. The 3 stripes should be expected, but they are still terrible. And the screen or vinyl heat pressed logo with the perforated look is really, really bad. So let's take a look now at the last ever edition of the Reebok Practice jersey that we got. And we'll start with you, Shawn, and your review of this thing.
You know, I've had a couple chances actually to purchase a Reebok Practice jersey through Value Village. One of them was a Sens jersey, so I immediately threw it away and, alerted the staff to what filth was in their store. And the other one was a Red Leafs jersey, and I looked at it and I was just like, there's nothing about this that pops out to me. It is the pinnacle of the Edge era. No jazz music this week. No music. No, you don't deserve this, Reebok. Yeah, just look at that and tell me what
just
about.
Just look at that. Well said on a podcast.
Thank you. Look at that. Look at this. So allow for me to describe to you what I'm looking at here. So if you know what a Reebok jersey looks like, if you don't, let me tell you. So we're looking at a Canucks jersey. So alternate logo, mostly green, and then a weird diamond-y-ish shaped. You ever been drawing on paint and you kind of accidentally make a shape and you don't know what the shape is?
It's like an elongated triangle.
It's like an elongated triangle with a trapezoid on the top of it that kind of cuts down and it looks like your dad's tie.
Well put.
It looks like that twice, and then there's a trapezoid underneath the collar, but it's this off-putting shade of gray.
I'll make sure to put a link in the description of this episode so everyone can check out this jersey.
Yeah, it's just these were terrible. They were like $80 a piece Canadian at best,
Yeah.
But
Bpoe?
There was no reason to own one.
Yeah. Gotta agree with you on that one, Shawn. Bpoe, your thoughts on the Reebok Practice jersey?
Well, I think it's a little bit better by default already just because the logo is an actual logo and it's not a roundel with a logo inside of it. But about this weird shape thing, I mean, it's a practice jersey, so I don't really expect any sort of intricate striping or anything on it. But I think I kind of like this better than the Adidas in a way, just because it has a little bit of dynamicism to it, and it's not just stripes on the side of panel of the jersey. It just looks, I don't know how to explain it, just more dynamic. And it is a weird shape, sure, and it's not that good in general. But it just adds a little bit something more. I wish it wasn't gray on every single one, though. If it would have matched the team's colors, or like if it was gray on like I see a Red Wings one here that's black and gray, that's fine because neither of those are really their team's colors. But if it's going to be like this Devils one I see here, make it white or make it black to match instead of gray. That's my biggest pet peeve with them. But other than that, I'd say almost everything else is better than the Adidas in my opinion.
Steve, Reebok Practice jersey?
So I actually own one of these, and it was a Christmas gift by my parents. It's a baby blue Penguins one, but it doesn't have the yellow triangle. It has the Vegas gold triangle in it.
Woo.
So what I like on it is that it's a normal logo on the front. That's about where everything stops. I don't understand the cut. It just confuses me, and the more I look at it, the angrier I get. I really hate the collar because the collar just has that insert that hangs down, and it doesn't mesh together like the Adidas collar does. And just, I haven't understood a single thing about how this practice jersey came to be as an idea. And the thing that bothers me the most is that the cuff, the gray in the cuff does not work. It doesn't cover all the way around. And the cuff on the, sorry, not the cuff, but the hem striping. Like, there's that little front part that doesn't join together. It just goes all the way down. I don't understand where the thoughts for a good design like that came from. So it just infuriates me to look at this.
It's a really awkward design with what appears to be no reasoning behind it. So, not that either of these jerseys are exceptionally good, but we do have to choose a winner. No sitting on a fence, Bpoe, but we will give you time to think about it. Shawn, we're going to start with you. Who wins this Throwback Throwdown, Adidas or Reebok?
Adidas wins hands down, but it's a little bit like, it's like picking between Alexander Daggle and Alexander Daggle, but he picked you up a coffee on the way in. And we're talking Senators Daggle, not Wild Daggle when he was scoring 40 points a year and doing all right for himself. We're talking pure bad attitude Daggle.
What about Hollywood Daggle trying to become an actor?
That's fine. So we're talking 1992 to 2001 Daggle. The second he got his act together in Minnesota, that's fine. That's the step up into mediocre home and road right there. But we're talking garbage.
All right, Steve, who wins, Adidas or Reebok?
Adidas wins this hands down. Theirs is just plain. It works to execution. If they were to put a regular logo on it, I'd be even happier. Reebok, I am so glad you are done with that, because if we had to stare at another year of those practice jerseys, I'm pretty sure one of the players would have lit them on fire.
All right, Bpoe, I gave you a little extra time so that you didn't have to sit on the fence. Who wins this one?
I'm going to have to go with CCM on this one.
You jerk. You jerk.
No, but if you couldn't tell from my review, I'm going to go with Reebok. I'm apparently the lone wolf on this one. Also, something that might be of note, in my Google searches, just looking at some pictures of these jerseys, I saw a Canadians Adidas Practice jersey from the Centennial Classic last year with the regular logo on it, no roundel. It was just, the one that they used in the Centennial Classic with silver replacing the white, but regular logo. So they've done this before, but not with alternates, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so they got rid of the roundel for specialty or outdoor games. So I wonder if, I don't remember the Leafs having Toronto Arena's practice jerseys for their special one-off game. So I don't think they did that. But as far as, I'm taking Reebok on this, and it's really because the terrible design on the Reebok jerseys offends me less than the design on the front of the Adidas jerseys. So I unfortunately am going to make it a tie, and I'm taking Reebok for the win here. But now it's up to the listeners to break this tie and let us know. You can either let us know on Twitter at HockeyJC with the hashtag Throwback Throwdown who wins this Adidas practice jersey or the last ever Reebok practice jersey. Or you can let us know by email, podcast at hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. And if we get enough votes, we'll let you know the winner next week. But amongst us writers here, we end in a tie. So even though I said we had to choose a winner, we end up not choosing a winner. All right, let's move on to fake or authentic. Fake or authentic? This is fake or authentic. This is where I come up with 3 statements, but it is up to the writers to choose whether or not these are fake or authentic. Here we go. Statement number 1. Even if a Fanatics monthly jersey subscription was $1,000 plus per year, it would still be something that I would want. So $1,000 a year to get a jersey, a new Fanatics jersey, every month. It's still something that I would want. Steve, we'll start with you. Fake or authentic?
I'm gonna have to go with authentic, and I just have to say, because you're still making a deal out on it, on just getting a new jersey every month. Now, question: do you pick the jersey, or is it just like at random?
No, it'd be like those mystery crate services where they just send you a box every month. And
really?
You get what you get. But
so like you're gonna get stuck with a Duchesne Senators jersey for the first one, then you're gonna get stuck with some no name on the Florida Panthers the next month. They're just gonna give you all the off-brand ones.
It could be anything. Yeah, there might be 2 a year where it's like maybe the January one is the Winter Classic or something like that. But then you got to live with, I don't know. You got to live with a Yager Panthers jersey after that. Who knows?
Shawn, name an irrelevant player on the Blackhawks or the Bruins for the Winter Classic jersey that they'd give you.
Chris Kunitz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I actually forgot he was on the Blackhawks. I love Kunitz, but I actually forgot he was on the Blackhawks. So
see? Actually, fun fact. Today, a guy at work looked me dead in the eye and said, "Why can't you like normal players?" But I told him that Freddie Brathwaite was one of my favorite goalies of all time.
I got the other day, last week at work, I got, what is the most obscure jersey you own? And then I had to pull out the Maple Leafs 2012-2013 game-used Joe Colburn jersey, which is probably the most obscure one I own. But anyways, getting back to this jersey subscription service, and there is a chance you get no-name players. Shawn, are you fake or authentic on this? $1,000 for the year.
I'm fake. I've kind of, in my current period of jersey collecting, I'm really focused on these 90 starters jerseys. Like, I love these things. And in terms of obscure players, getting an obscure player from now is good enough, but getting an obscure player from 20 years ago
is obscure,
and it's retro chic. You roll up in a Jonas Högland jersey or a Sebastien Charpentier Capitals alternate, or a Sebastian Caron Penguins home jersey, which isn't actually that obscure per se.
It's
to
not
the right person, but because you don't have
Ron Tugnut.
Yeah.
We will not insult the good name Ron Tugnut on this jersey. Ron Tugnut, hit us up if you want to be on the podcast. Played for 8 teams, you can at least come on the podcast.
Makes sense. Bpoe, are you fake or authentic on $1,000 year? That's $1,000 a year for a monthly jersey from Fanatics.
I think I'm going to say authentic on this one. I mean, I guess it really depends on if I had the money, but just let's say I did. I think I'd say authentic, because if I don't like the jersey that I get, I could try and sell it. And even if there's not too much of a market for it, if it's some obscure player, maybe I can try and get something out of it. And if I don't think I'd be too upset with having an extra jersey on hand.
All right, good stuff. Let's go
And again, you're getting a cheaper deal than what you'd be buying a regular Fanatic for anyways.
That's the draw. That's the idea behind it, right? That's the draw. You're getting a cheaper deal, and is the deal enough to get a Fanatics jersey, which I hate to say it, and I've been saying it for a while now. I'm kind of coming around to Fanatics jerseys. Like, I saw the Winter Classic one. They're felt patches. I know they're heat pressed, and I'm worried that they're going to fall off. But, the Winter Classic patch, and you get the Winter Classic patch on it. Now, it is like sublimated on a weird kind of flexy material that's not even twill. But still, you get the Winter Classic patch on the jersey. You get a felt-like patch on the front. It's not a bad deal. But anyways, let's move on to fake or authentic. Number 2, again, this is a money question. And I've seen a whole bunch of videos on YouTube of people spending, $500 for a giant crate of electronic items that have been returned to Amazon. So they don't really know what they're getting. Some of the stuff might be broken, but there might be, a gem in there that completely made it worth it. So this is along the same lines here. Fake or authentic? I would spend $300 for a giant mystery package that was simply labeled hockey paraphernalia. Fake or authentic, Steve?
I'm going to say fake, and I will say this. If you've ever been into one of those, like, offhand stores or where they just get all, like, all the unsold clothing and they try to resell it at a discount price, you'll notice that some of those shirts that say, like, an NHL team name on them, they're either just a weird cut or they're a wrong cut. It's how the best way I can put it is that you don't know what you're going to get, and that can probably scare you because you might end up being a mistake most of the time, or you might get a really weird cut of a shirt that could be really tight on you for being like in a large. If you wear a large shirt, it could fit like a small. So would I do it? Absolutely not, because more than likely you're just wasting your money on things that they couldn't sell because they were either mistakes or they were extras of players that no longer play on the team or their old logos. So,
all right, Shawn, fake or authentic? A $300 gamble on a mystery package simply labeled hockey paraphernalia.
I'm going to say fake on this one, but it's a toss-up because on the one hand, and you can talk to Monday's writer Corey about this, because him and I used to often visit a place in the Dixie Outlet Mall, which Ryan might be vaguely familiar with.
Just west of Toronto, yep.
Exactly, in Mississauga, Ontario. And there's a sports store in there that seems to focus on that. It's quite large. They have a large inventory. And you're bound to find something in there. Really, it's more of a sports curio shop. And if it's like that, sure. You know, you never know what you're going to get. You might pull out like a Atlanta Thrashers license plate cover. You know, that's something you'd use. On the other hand, a store in Halifax recently closed. Similar problem. But the difference was they had nothing cool. They had nothing to bring you in. They had nothing. Instead of having a whole bunch of variety of niche stuff that would attract people, they had no niche stuff and sold the same stuff you could get on the Canadian NHL shop.com.
CA.
And ultimately they recently closed. The only thing in there I remember having vague interest in was one of those hockey scoreboard chandeliers, but it was the Buffa Slug. But they wanted $90 for it, and I'm like, $30 and we'll talk. But $90 for a plastic chandelier, get out of here. So it's fake. But the problem is that, you know, when these things are good, they tend to be really good and really enjoyable in places that you can get a rapport with and get good deals on stuff. But if you don't, they're a really big waste of money.
All right, Bpoe, fake or authentic? $300 for a mystery package labeled hockey paraphernalia.
My answer, just in general, is fake, but my answer is kind of similar to Shawn's in that it's really dependent on where it's coming from. If it's just coming from some random guy and you don't know what's in it, or if it's just coming from some random retail store, secondhand store, absolutely not. There's no way I'd take a chance on that, because some things in there could be fake, some could be just kind of like what Steve mentioned, to something very weird. But if it's coming from a reputable like retailer, like as like I don't know if Sports K or Cool Hockey, I don't think they have any like actual brick and mortar stores, do they? I don't think so.
No,
right?
I don't.
Well, actually, no. Cool Hockey does.
Oh, Cool
Okay.
Hockey.
Well, if they do, then, or if it's just something that they had in one of their warehouses, then I think I would take the risk on that, because you know that whatever you're going to get is not going to be fake. But if it's just coming from some random place, definitely fake.
All right, and here we go for our last fake or authentic. You need a security guard. You have to hire a security guard for your jersey collection. I would hire a hungry gorilla over an angry bear for the position of jersey collection security guard. Fake or authentic, Steve?
well,
These are the only two.
there's a lot.
These are the only two people that have applied: the hungry gorilla or the angry bear. No one else applied to be your jersey collection security guard. These are your choices.
Do I have to feed the gorilla?
No, because then he's not hungry anymore.
because you realize you have a better chance of escaping a bear than you do a gorilla.
So you want to hire the gorilla,
honestly,
I guess.
if the gorilla I knew were to be faithful and not actually try to kill me the second I'd actually try to go for mine, I would say authentic on that one. Because you just know that the bear would just, the first person to see, you'd be so ticked off. You'd be like, you got me in this situation, just maul you to death, and then end up stealing all your good hockey jerseys and selling them on eBay for oats or something.
The bear 321. He just makes his own eBay account.
I remember seeing a meme once. It was like, this guy's like, oh God, I gotta play dead. And he's like over dramatically playing dead, and this bear's holding him while he's pretending to die. And so I'm just like, tell my mother I love her. And then all of a sudden you see this bear break into your house, go like with tears in its eyes.
That's good. That's good. Shawn, fake or authentic, you would hire a hungry gorilla over an angry bear as your jersey collection security guard.
I don't know. In the province of Nova Scotia, you are granted a lunch break after 5 hours of work, as per labor laws. And, gorillas are sticklers for that.
Gorillas are big union guys.
Gorillas are big union guys. Well, the bear, I give him a pack of darts and he'll be fine, Come in and I'll be like, hey, Frank, how's it going?
He needs
the gorilla's going to be like, he's going to hand me a check. He's going to hand me like a receipt every week. And it's like, what do you need? Steel-toed boots. You need reimbursement on $200 steel-toed boots to guard my jerseys. Why?
300 bunches of bananas? I'm not paying for that.
It's not a work expense. These aren't work expenses. A membership to a climbing gym is not a work thing. Your ridiculous security guard Paul Blart-esque outfit is. But I gave that to you.
Now I'm just picturing a gorilla on a Segway.
The Segway is not a workplace expense there.
No, you're now I can picture a gorilla just like look really tough and angry, in like in a suit, one of the security guard suits, and just someone walks up. It's like, hey, can I? It just grabs the purse, goes, whoa, whoa. Do you remember the Hulk whipping around Loki in the first Avengers? Yeah, it ended up looking like that.
I just pictured the gorilla handing me a list of demands, and then if I don't follow every one of them, like banana breaks every hour, it's like you start hearing from it, gorilla speak solidarity forever. I got the picket signs going through my jersey collection. I don't need that. Again, the bear probably smokes already. I'll fund his filthy habit, if he does a good job.
The bear's got to be angry, smoking, and have a French accent too, and that would just be.
Don't you have black bears up there?
Yeah, we only have black bears up here in this part of the country.
I was gonna say they always look like they're drunk.
They're very clumsy.
Maybe
they always look like they're drunk.
I'm often compared to one.
Maybe your security guard bear is sneaking some alcohol on the side. We don't know. Something's making him angry.
Yeah, because he's not a Kodiak or a grizzly bear. One of those experienced, tough professionalist bears. He's one of those black bears you see in like park security cameras. Breaking into people's cars and taking their food and walking off.
Diving into dumpsters, knowing that it's never going to get out. All right, fake or authentic Bpoe. You would hire the hungry gorilla over the angry bear as your jersey collection security guard.
So I wasn't really sure what to think for this, so I decided to enlist Google in helping me with my answer here. My first result was a YouTube video titled Bear versus Gorilla. And the final score, I have no idea what they used to do this, but the final score ended up 37-36 in favor of the bear. So that's not very much of a difference. So the next thing that I found was a Quora answer, and the first answer says that the grizzly would win nearly every time. So I'm putting a lot of faith into a Quora answer here, but I'm going to have to go with the bear. Because also, look at what happened to Harambe. Rest in peace. But, Apparently, it
You
wasn't
said you
that
would
hard
never
to take
bring up
down.
that gorilla on this podcast.
Oh,
Did I?
Yes.
When? When did this happen?
Opening some old wounds here, Bpoe. Come on, man.
and by the way, I just remind
We
favorite
already
thing.
discussed when it first happened that we would never discuss that gorilla.
Press F to pay respect.
Gentlemen, we were forgetting that the town of Springfield in the great state of...
The best part is when Shawn, during his explanation, put himself on mute. So
I
that's,
did. Fun fact.
So that's what
I
happened
thought
there.
somebody else did that to him.
Brought in a bear patrol. Cost him millions in tax dollars. That
Bear
ended up being illegal immigrants. But
Even when it was the Bears, I knew it was the immigrants.
And you're muted again.
He's the best. Sean,
He's still talking.
he's still talking, but he thinks people can hear him, but absolutely no one can. The only person
bear was charged with being a bear, but who was charged with accessory to being a bear? Bonnie. So what does that mean? You, as the owner of the bear, would be charged with accessory to being a bear, depending on the state you are in.
You see, I lived in Ohio for 3 years. So in Ohio, compared to Pennsylvania, it's polar opposites. You see, in Ohio, you can practically own whatever you want as an animal. So
Like
I don't
that.
know if you guys remember a few years ago, but there was a guy that owned a bunch of wolves, and he didn't have the proper permits, so he decided to let them out. So
quality individual.
purposely, I clearly remember this one time. I was riding down the highway going from Youngstown, Ohio, 20 minutes over to Niles, and I would see in this backyard this large enclosure and just this bear sitting in the middle of it. and it was just like, that thing doesn't look like it can contain the bear. And my brother just says, he goes, I guarantee it can't. I guarantee we're going to hear about it on the news one day. 2 years later, he sends me a news clipping, and a bear had escaped. It wasn't that one, but it was in the neighborhood. And I just started laughing because
There's multiple bears in the neighborhood.
It's a bear-friendly neighborhood.
I picture the...
Oh, Sean, your audio is just failing you today. You have a magic mute button that you keep hitting.
You're doing this, Ryan. You're...
Okay, no, I did it that time. I didn't do it. I promise, though, I didn't do it.
The bear's just waddling down the street, sits down for a minute, licks its paw, keeps going, goes through someone's garbage, and the whole time there's like a tuba. Bear's just minding its own business, rubbing itself up against like someone's car, and the car alarm's going off. And again, guys watching on the news, I feel bad for that guy. Windows where you can see it right outside his window.
Well, that was fake or authentic. I think we learned a lot about ourselves, but more importantly, I think we learned a lot about bears today and gorillas
And audio issues. And Sprite Cranberry.
and Sprite Cranberry. This episode has been brought to you by Sprite Cranberry. Sprite Cranberry. How was it, Sean?
Cranberry?
now they're going to give us a call.
The phrase cease and desist will be used several times, and our name is tarnished, and we can no longer sell this product in Canada thanks to you guys.
Sprite Canada wants to send us over a sixer. That'd be fine. I'd crack
It's
open.
okay, guys. We still have cunt worth.
We were doing so good.
Yeah, Bpoe just picks the right moment to slip it in there. Let down your guard
Hey, I could have
once.
mentioned it earlier, but I decided not to for some reason. So, you know,
Do we start getting
I couldn't pass up the second opportunity.
You let
do we
your
start
guard down
ads
once.
for that again?
The what? The ads for Cunt Wars?
Yeah.
Na, 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 na. Just play Cunt Wars for free. Da, 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 da.
Use the code HJC2018 to get 10,000
Cunt
Points.
Wars credits.
V-Bucks.
in the game.
All
I
right.
guess V-Bucks would make a lot more sense. for cunt worth, wouldn't it?
V-Bucks.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
We definitely lost the Sprite deal, boys.
Bpoe's really big on this Cunt Wars. I feel like he was a developer on the program.
We blew it, boys.
All right, that's what we got for you today on the Nerdcast. On the blog, hockeyjerseyconcepts.com, we have stickers, jersey casual stickers for sale. Head on over to the shop tab.
Do the same.
What's that, Shawn?
I ordered one for Christmas.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, let us know what jersey casual you ordered.
I know exactly which one he ordered. He just happened to order the Winnipeg Jets.
Nobody else learned what he ordered because he hit himself on mute again.
No, Bpoe did it. He's got a shit-eating grin. He did it.
I did.
Bpoe coming in with
Actually, I do have something coming out very special. It's actually, from what I could say, it's going to be a poster. It's going to be a poster and sticker form. So that's all I'm really going to give away, but it's going to be a special edition. So it's not going to be on a shirt because it's multiple designs on one. So be on the lookout for that.
That's cool.
Once it gets
NFL
back.
jerseys, isn't it, Steve?
NFL? Really? I can't deal with the NFL. They're good. Second, even if we mention it, I'm going to receive a letter now stating, you better not do it. You better not do it. You're going to have to pay our $3 million licensing fee before you can even think about designing one.
All right, so we got still the new design, the poster design that's coming out, and anything new coming out for Jersey Casual is very exciting. I know we also have I got a shirt in the works, so that might be coming out at some point. There should be coming out. Just got to find a good way to get it out. So we get some HJC merch that should be popping up in 2019, which is exciting. Also on the blog, we have the 2019 All-Star Design Competition. That ends, the entry phase ends on December, got to pull up the calendar here, December 14th, and then we'll go into the vote, which ends on December 21st, and then we'll give ourselves about a week break with no competition so everyone can enjoy their holidays, namely Christmas, and then we will dive into our new format of competitions, heavily competition-based. Also on the blog, we have the usual weekly Concept of the Week vote and the Concept of the Week November vote going on. So that's a pretty big vote, our second last monthly vote on the blog as we work our way to the fourth quarter vote. And then, of course, get to the 2018 Concept of the Year champion. That's announced late January, early February, sometime around there. I'd like to thank Steve, Bpoe, and Shawn for being on this week's podcast. And I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And, of course, you can get involved in everything we've talked about on Twitter at HockeyJC, or you can email the podcast directly, podcast@hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. We want you to listen to the podcast, obviously, but we also want you to like it. We want you to download it. And most of all, we want you to share it with your friends. Share it with a stranger. Just stop someone on the street and say, hey, listen to the Jersey Nerds podcast. It's awesome. We'd really appreciate that. That would help us out. Let's spread the name of the podcast. Get it out there. Start talking about it on all your social media crap that you young people love. Your Instagrams and your Facebookers and your Twitterers and, your Snapchooters and all that kind of stuff. Get it out there. Start talking about the podcast. Thanks for listening this week, and we'll be back next week with more Jersey Nerds podcast.